What's up, Soul Family and everyone out there in the world? This is Nihilit's Entity Tarot, and this is going to be a mini moon message for the moon in Aries transit that we are currently experiencing right now. So, before I get started with the reading itself, it is the moon. It represents our reactions and our responses to the world, as well as our needs. And with it being in the sign of Aries, and Aries being a fire sign, more specifically a cardinal fire sign, Aries is initiating and creating new ways of seeing and feeling the emotions, and Aries is born out of the first house of personal interest, affairs, and insecurities, as well as your personality and you as an individual. With that being said, this is what we're going to be reacting and responding to, but it is carrying the full moon in Pisces residue-ish energies from this full moon in Pisces that we just experienced. So it's still carrying that little bit of a residue up until like 2 days from now. So let's start off with the astronomical speaking. It is a waning gibbous moon. So waning moon from the Moonology Oracle deck is, what do you need to release? So during this time we all have something that we need to release that we may be holding on to currently during this moon in Aries transit. So ponder about this and what is it that we need to release during this time. Then for the gibbous moon from the Moonology Oracle deck, this is you're very close to achieving your goal. So as you're releasing, you're very close to achieving your goal at the same time, alright? Because it is a gibbous moon. So while you're focusing on what to release, know that you're very close to achieving your goal while doing so. Now, with the full moon in Pisces residue energies, the full moon is surrender to the divine in the Moonology Oracle deck. So we all need to surrender to the divine during this time, and it can also apply to what do you need to release. But in general, as an overall, surrender to the divine during this time of the moon transitioning in sign of Aries with the full moon energy residue. Now, speaking about astrologically speaking, with the full moon in Pisces in general, give me 1 second. So, with that cut being there, moving on to astrological speaking. Astrological themes of the moon in Aries carrying that residue of the full moon in Pisces. And start off with Aries first, astrologically speaking, which Aries is a cardinal sign. So cardinal move from the Moonology Oracle deck is be bold and make the first move. So we all need to be bold and make the first move during this time, with whatever that means to you as an individual. Now, with the full moon in Pisces, Pisces being a mutable sign, mutable moon in the Moonology Oracle deck is nothing is yet set in stone. So know and understand and overstand that nothing is yet set in stone, both positively and negatively. So always have your plan set and backup plan set, just in case the things don't happen the way you want to. If this is positive speaking, or if it's negative, don't always think about the negative and worst things that are going to happen, because that's not always set in stone as well. Now, to end the astrological side of things, it is a full moon in Pisces, which is balance, spirituality, and practicality during this time. So spirituality means individuality, and practicality means being practical with things. So balance your individuality and being practical with the world around you during this time while the moon is transitioning in Aries, carrying that full moon in Pisces, as we see here, the residue of that said energy. Now, with the major arcanas, major arcana for Aries is the Emperor card. So during this time we all need to take power and control over ourselves, over our life, and whatever it is that we are wanting desiring to do in our life during this time. So don't lose power and control and don't get upset, but remain grounded, stable in that power and control energy, as well as being father-like to yourself and others around you during this moon in Aries transit. And then of course with the full moon in Pisces residue energy, Pisces in the major from the well, the major arcana cards that represent Pisces is the Hangman and the Moon. So starting off with the Hangman, this is either stagnation, or this can be you having a higher or new perspective of your life in general, whether it be positive or negative. So, and then the last major arcana card that represents Pisces is, of course, the Moon. So the Moon represents listening to intuition, but as well as following and embracing the unknown. Not following, but embracing the unknown and not fearing the unknown, by you creating spheres of reality, by you as a spirit of being no thing, no shape, no form, creating and agreeing with positive, creating and agreeing thoughts and feelings. Make sure to create higher perspectives and positive thoughts and feelings about the unknown moving forward during this Moon in Aries transit, and more specifically during this full Moon in Pisces residue energy we are experiencing. Now, I'm going to move on to the Universal Celtic Tarot deck. Then I'll clarify these cards with the Rider-Waite deck, and then move on to the Moonology Oracle deck to end the reading off. So, the first card from the Universal Celtic Tarot deck is the Hierophant. So the Hierophant is us being committed to something during this time. Keep being committed to whatever it is that you are putting commitment towards, especially if it's for your highest good and the betterment of your well-being during the Moon in Aries transit, carrying that full Moon in Pisces energy along with it. Now the second card from the Universal Celtic Tarot deck that we get is the Four of Pentacles. So this is us possibly holding on to things too tightly, or this could be us needing to hold things too tightly, depending on what the clarification card is. So we'll get to that when we do, but this is us holding on to things too tightly and not wanting to let go. If it's positive, then that's a good thing. If it's negative, then that's not. Right, the third card is from the Universal Celtic Tarot deck, and the last card, but definitely not least, is the Six of Swords. So the Six of Swords is a transition, mentally transitioning from, or you could be internally transitioning from with your thoughts or feelings to a different esoteric location, or externally by you moving to a different place in the external world. I'll clarify this when we get to it. Now, moving on to said clarifications, starting off with the Hierophant. The Hierophant is clarified by the Five of Swords. So, we are dealing with a sense of defeat, but from the sense of defeat, I feel like we are being committed towards something and being pushed by accepting defeat and not dwelling in this defeat, and continuing to be committed towards whatever it is that we are putting our commitment to and towards during this Moon in Aries transit, carrying the full Moon in Pisces residue energy. Now let's clarify the Four of Pentacles. The Four of Pentacles is clarified by the Knight of Cups. So the Knight of Cups is talking about us emotionally going after what we want and desire, and by doing so, this is how putting us the energy of not wanting to let go of said things that we are emotionally connected to, while we're moving emotionally towards what we want and desire. So if this is for your highest good and betterment of well-being, continue to hold on and don't let anything deter you from achieving your goals at this time, dealing with your emotional self, going towards what you want and desire. Now, your third card being the Six of Swords, let's clarify that. And the Six of Swords is clarified by the Five of Cups. So, this is a card of looking back in the past and focusing on what we don't have instead of what we do have, which can be best represented by the man looking down at the cups, which the man represents your thoughts, looking at what the cups, what you don't, and they'll fallen. So it's like stuff that's no longer in your life that you're emotionally connected towards, and you're focusing heavily on that instead of focusing on these two cups that are standing, aka what is in your life during this time. But this is clarifying the Six of Swords, so this is what we're moving away from. We're moving away from dwelling and looking back in the past, and moving towards better and better things, moving forward into the future during this moon in Aries transit, carrying the full moon in Pisces residue energy. Now let's pull 3 more cards from the Numerology Oracle deck to see what Mother Moon wants to give to us, to me. To end the reading off. So, this will be ending the reading off. So your 3 cards are, starting off with the first card, of course, we get the full moon in Capricorn, the end of a tough cycle. The end of a tough cycle approaches for all of us. So this is what Mother Moon wants to force give to us through me. So know and understand that as long as you continue to push yourself forward and stay committed, the end of a tough cycle will approach for all of us during this moon in Aries transit. And the second card from Mother Moon to us through me is New Moon in Taurus. Prosperity lies ahead. So prosperity is lying ahead for all of us, as long as we stay committed towards what we are putting commitment to, and moving away from the past, which can also be tied to the end of a tough cycle approaches. So prosperity is lying ahead for all of us during this moon in Aries transit. And then the last card, but definitely not least, from Mother Moon to us through me, is full moon in Scorpio. It's time to release negativity. So it's time to release all these burdens and frustrations and things in the past that are no longer with us, and release all those negative thoughts and feelings, and transmute them into positive thoughts and feelings by creating higher perspectives, creating and agreeing with positive thoughts and feelings moving forward during this moon in the Aries transit. Now, with that being said, that would be all for this mini moon message for the moon in Aries. Of course, carrying that full moon in Pisces residue energy. I hope this helped. I hope this brought clarity or aided you in any way. Shout out to the whole Soul family. Shout out to Dolo the Pilot Man. Y'all be blessed. Know that you'll never be less. Y'all take care and peace.